Claim they like riding, but I know that they ain't. Ride or die. I go hard in the paint, yeah, homie, I'm a saint. Ride or die.
I think though, if we're like looking at history, just look at appeal to majority of atheists and look at what China's done. I think it's game over.
Lights out.
Over for what?
Now we're suddenly
China has
equating
done. I like it.
atheism with like Maoism. It's so insane.
This
Even if
is
they
like
were
your
like
typical.
atheists through and through, and they did that because of atheism.
This is what you see on conservative Twitter.
Okay.
These are the type of take.
Yeah, it's
I know it's like
Venezuela,
it's the low tier Facebook.
Yeah, the
Look, Pol Pot,
Boomerang's, yeah.
Mao.
Are you claiming that the
to be fair, you
majority
get
of
that on the other
people in
side too,
China
pointing to
are not
the
atheists?
Crusades and like Hitler was a Christian. Yeah.
I'm just asking: are the majority of people in China atheists? Yes or
Do you
no?
think? I
Hey,
think James
today
would
no.
be the type of person. What, Jack? Can you remind me of the historian that Paul Cockshott replied to over that video called "Why Hitler Was a Leftist"? Do you remember that historian's
I don't
name?
think Hitler was a leftist. I don't think you could say that.
No, I
I
don't.
would disagree with that historian.
I just have a quick question. Why is
Okay,
it
you're
that
just
Christians
a
seem
bit
to say,
better than Ben Shapiro, I guess.
like, why is it
I'd
that
say Hitler
Christians,
is a leftist.
like James, will say that, the majority of people in China are atheists, but then they'll also brag about how many people they're converting in China? Like,
Yeah, there's those two things are not in any way linked. You can still have a majority atheist population who's recognizing that atheism is immoral and bankrupt and coming to the truth of Christianity. Like neither one of those things are in conflict.
well, why was it bad that they were atheists then?
We've been pounding this drum for the past few days now. No objective morality. It's all subjective to opinion. Might
Oh
makes
my god.
right.
Now,
No, we're not doing
yeah,
that.
I was really
Or you're saying like,
excited.
hey, here's a whole country of atheists. Let me just go and they'll make perfectly good
Yeah,
Christians,
but
right? Like that's what I don't understand.
God
the whole
perfects
tribe.
the sinner and he can bring the sinner out of his sinning and into a relationship with him. So, yes, the worst of the people can end
Jake,
up
I'm
becoming
trying to talk.
great Christians.
This whole like weird trope. Okay, let's suppose that morality is subjective. So what? It's still not going to like impede me from making moral judgments or anything like that against people.
No,
So
just
like
if you don't have a symmetry
like
breaker,
what
though, then it becomes vacuous
symmetry
because you
breaker?
have nothing to distinguish why your moral principles and duties are better than the next atheist's moral principles and
Yeah,
duties.
but that's
So
easy though.
without that,
That's
it's
easy.
I will wait for you to give me the symmetry
That's
breaker that
easy.
demonstrates it's not
That's
vacuous.
easy. If you're just asking why my moral system is going to be better than others, then better is just going to be something which I take to be agent relative. For sure, you could argue that one moral system is going to be quote unquote better than others, but those things are going to be evaluated by agents.
If your response is it's just better because I say it's better, we're still in the same conundrum because
So how is it a
the atheist who
conundrum?
disagrees with you is going to say that his is better
It has
because
nothing
he
to do with
believes it's
atheism.
better.
Okay, so what?
It's
So
just
I
general
disagree.
general questions in
So
meta
So
you're
what?
just
ethics.
not giving the
So I got
symmetry breaker.
So
You don't have
okay, so
anything
what?
outside of the agent.
Okay, yeah,
these are just general questions in meta
that just
ethics that have
follows
nothing to do with
trivially from
atheism.
the view. I don't see how that's an objection.
It's a clear objection.
How so? You're just saying,
Your
well,
morality is by
you're
definition
just
vacuous,
saying, yeah, okay, but that's not an objection. You're just
and it's
saying that,
also
look, you're
arbitrary
just
as well.
saying, stop
Uh,
interrupting. You're just saying that Hitler and I have incommensurable moral beliefs, and those moral facts are going to be indexical, and those things are all agent relative, and this is somehow a problem because why? Because it's just my opinion? Well, yeah, I agree with that. It's just, yeah, it is just my opinion. That just follows from the view. How is that an objection? I don't get it.
Because it's also arbitrary.
Arbitrary? No. I mean, it's subjective. It's not arbitrary. It's not. I still have a reason for why I have the moral beliefs that I do.
I feel like
It's just that the set of. It's just that. Sorry, don't interrupt me. It's just the set of moral reasons that I have are agent relative. Like, doesn't follow that it's arbitrary.
Yeah, but your reasons aren't necessarily good reasons for me. Why should I believe your reasons?
I don't
And
have
if we
to.
both
Why
have the
would I have
same
to convince a
faculties,
dumbass like you of anything? I don't. I don't care if you don't find those things to be good reasons.
and this is what happens when you show atheism that they are
If you start getting
subjectively in
abusive, he'll just tap
this
out.
devalued.
this has nothing to do with
But
atheism. These are just general questions of
why
meta.
would I care? Why would I care
Well,
if you don't
friction
find
when
my
an
reasons
atheist
to
calls
be?
you a dumbass from
Why
stage
would I care if
because
you
they
don't
don't have a
find the
response to your
reasons?
argument, then
Why
yes,
don't
that is
What
abusive and
what
that
argument?
is
okay,
typical of
sure.
atheist
No,
That's
the
just your
Troyer
opinion.
wasn't being
No argument was
abusive.
made.
You still have no
Sorry.
arguments, right? So why should I accept you when you say that, oh, I'm just insulting you? You haven't provided an objection.
you
So
haven't
Jack, what
provided
was
a
that?
demonstration that I should consider your values more valuable than my own.
I don't
You're
have
just
to.
like now
I don't have
turning to
to.
ad hominem
I thought that
insults
you had
because
an argument.
you've
I
been
thought that you had an
folded.
argument against the view. You don't.
So James, the point is that, right, that like you can just have whatever values you want, and so can he, right?
No, the
I
point
mean, one
is
thing that can be done is if his values align with yours, you ally with him, you work together with him, right? And to the extent that they don't, then you don't. There's nothing more you can do.
This is why you need
Yeah,
objective.
in a way, what you just said is sort of the history of
no,
social
that's
interaction.
the issue. Is like I
But
gave
Yeah.
him challenges. He went to name calling
I don't get it.
because he has
So
simplifying.
nothing to address my challenges.
because there happens to be
I don't recall
some
a challenge being presented.
incommensurability. So just because there happens to be some sort of incommensurability between two agents regarding their moral beliefs, you want to argue that somehow that implies that the view is false? Is that what you're working with? So the fact that Hitler and I have incommensurable moral beliefs is somehow an entailment as to how moral subjectivism isn't true. That's what you want to argue, correct? Because if that's your argument, that just doesn't follow at all, right? and
No,
somehow
you ended our
And
argument and
somehow,
you
guess
got
what? There's
very
still
hot.
moral disagreement. There could still be moral disagreement, even if moral realism is true. So what are you going to argue then? That moral realism is false because there's moral disagreement?
No, you ended the argument when you showed you had no demonstration. You had nothing to assert
I
other
don't
than name
have to
calling.
look. I don't have to
You
satisfy.
you literally
I don't
gave
have
in
to.
on it, so
I
it's
don't have
done.
to bow down. I don't have to bow down to your Frank Turek epistemic standards. I really don't. It's not of my interest, right? My interest was for you to provide an argument, right? You failed. You just said something that trivially follows from the view, and then you got mad at me because I called you dumb.
I sense another cope room.
Darth, the point was
This
when
is
you called
just
him dumb, you were tapping out.
I was
yeah,
tapping
that was
out.
his tap out. This
I just
happens all
said
the
that
time,
his.
man.
I just said that his
These guys
view.
run away really hard and start tapping the mat right when you get them to submit.
Let's be honest though.
I mean, I didn't
I
even see a
mean,
challenge
why don't
being
you just
presented.
name call him back, right? Just take some steroids, name call him back. It's fun. Just play the game. Come on.
Jack,
Darth, let me just clarify. When an atheist calls a Christian a name in a debate, what we consider that is the atheist safe word that they don't want anymore.
Yeah, but
Oh,
why
why?
though?
Why would that follow? If that's the case, then Venus has like
Just a
lost every debate he's ever been in, right?
yeah, yeah, pretty
So
much.
no, like that's obviously not the case.
Venus
Although
has
you
offered
could
his
make
safe
a
words.
case, you could make a strong case of him losing the majority of his debates, but I'm not going to get into that yet. But no, just because I insult you doesn't mean that I've like lost a debate. Are you retarded?
It's
James, do you
absolutely
think that's
losing a
his safe
debate. It's saying
word?
that
And
you
A
yes,
can't
I
safe
did
handle
that
the
word?
on purpose.
conversation anymore.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's absolutely that you can't handle the conversation anymore.
No, I
So
just
you have
did.
to
I
insult.
just did. Right. I just did. I showed that your view is not even you don't even have an argument. You just are really just saying something that I'm just going to trivially accept as a moral subjectivist And you've given no reason for me to think that moral realism is true, just because incommensurability is entailed by moral
Yeah,
subjectivism for
you
some
haven't
reason.
showed
Okay?
anything other than you're trying to bait me back in so you can be more verbally abusive.
I go hard in the paint, yeah, homie, I'm a saint. Ride or die.